negotiation. Amad Diallo is going to extend for Kobbie Mainoo. The conversation remains ongoing. At the moment, there is no agreement. Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today, guys, we start talking about Chelsea, Manchester United. Many things to say, also something on Victor Gyokeres. Let's jump into it together. And so guys, movements are starting on the market. Yesterday I released to you updates and video talking to you about the situation of Marcus Rashford. Today, the agent of the player, the brother of Marcus Rashford, is in Italy. Meetings are ready, so discussions are ready. Marcus Rashford camp will have face-to-face talks with AC Milan to discuss this possibility. I told you that AC Milan is a strong possibility for Marcus Rashford, but not the only one. There is also interest in Italy from Juventus. Juventus are looking for a striker. They asked for Joshua Zirkzee, but as I told you, Manchester United have no intention to open doors to a loan deal at this stage of the market. Juventus are also considering Randal Kolo Muani, who is in the list of Tottenham and Manchester United too. Tottenham and Juventus have been more insistent in contacts in the recent weeks. Man United just trying to understand the general situation around the player, but for sure Kolo Muani is a player of interest of several clubs, and Juventus also know that Rashford is potentially available on the market, so all the clubs want to be informed. Among these clubs, we have to include also Borussia Dortmund. As we say, the Borussia Dortmund will have talks with the agents of Marcus Rashford to understand the situation around the player. So Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan, let's see what Juventus decide to do with many strikers in their list, but for sure Rashford remains one of the strong names for the January transfer window. At the moment, the player is not taking into consideration Saudi Arabia, and same for Galatasaray. Galatasaray called for Marcus Rashford, but the player wants to continue in top 5 European. Then guys, on Manchester United, I also wanted to tell you something on Kobbie Mainoo, because I'm receiving many messages, many questions after all the stories in England. Obviously, as I always tell you, full respect for other journalists. Any journalist has his own information. What I can tell you, guys, many of your messages are about this Chelsea story. I think it's absolutely normal for all top clubs in the world, Chelsea for sure, but also many others, to appreciate a player like Kobbie Mainoo. How you can't love a talent like Kobbie Mainoo, a guy who was in the academy a few months ago, 1 year ago, and then fantastic race with Manchester United, the Euros. Don't forget what this boy did for the English national team as a kid. He's a kid and he's still making an impact. So it's absolutely normal to fall in love with Kobbie Mainoo, especially if you're an English club. But that's it at the moment. My headline is not Chelsea like Kobbie Mainoo, because that's absolutely obvious and normal. But the point here is that for Manchester United, at this point, there are no negotiations with any other club, no bid on the table, the situation is completely quiet. The player is under contract till 2027, plus an option till 2028, so it's not a desperate situation for Manchester United. They want to extend their contract. The negotiation was at very good point in the first half of 2024. Then what happened? Manchester United changed many things internally. We know also what happened after with Dan Ashworth leaving the club. The situation started to change again at Manchester United. Imagine how many things changed in just 1 year, since December 2023. New co-owners, then a new manager, then new directors, then the new director, Dan Ashworth, leaving, and now other people in charge. So, you know, many things changed, and this kind of things can also change the rhythm of a negotiation. Amad Diallo is going to extend for Kobbie Mainoo. The conversation remains ongoing. At the moment, there is no agreement, but what I'm told is that the conversation remains ongoing. If you want my opinion, I keep saying, guys, when you are Manchester United in one of the most difficult moments of your history and you have a player like Kobbie Mainoo, you can't consider to sell a player like Kobbie Mainoo, because he's coming from the academy, he's a face of Manchester United, and in difficult moments for top clubs, you need players who love the shirt, who know what does it mean to be a Manchester United player, but it's the same for all the other top clubs around the world. If you are experiencing a difficult moment for a very big club, with a big shirt, with a big tradition, with a big history, these kind of players have to be crucial in your project. So I'm sure Manchester United know this concept very well and know how important it is to have players who really care about your club and know what does it mean to wear the shirt of your club since they were kids, because we have pictures of Kobbie Mainoo in red when he was 3 or 4 years old, and I think this kind of legacy is something absolutely important. So that's just to close the story on Kobbie Mainoo, then we will see these contract talks, how it's gonna advance. But remember, under contract till 2027 plus an option till 2028. Also, guys, I keep receiving many questions on Victor Gyokeres from Arsenal fans. Not an easy moment for Arsenal after the game with Newcastle. Questions from Manchester United fans, because obviously Ruben Amorim is there. But guys, what I keep telling you is that, according to my information, Victor Gyokeres is not planning for a change in the January transfer window. So the idea for Victor Gyokeres is to move in the summer, to have also some help from Sporting to leave with different conditions compared to the release clause in the summer. So that's the view, that's the idea. The expectation is for Victor Gyokeres to leave Sporting in 2025, but respect Sporting. Sporting want to continue with this group, with these players, and so not leaving now, but in the summer transfer window to find a solution that will make the club and the player happy. So Gyökeres is not expected to be one of the names for the January transfer window. We never know in football, especially when there is a release clause, but at this point there are no concrete or advanced negotiations. Then, guys, I wanted to say some things on Chelsea. Also on the outgoings, we already mentioned several things these days. I keep mentioning to you the situation of Christopher Nkunku. Now I can see many reports. What I'm told is that with Paris Saint-Germain there is nothing concrete, nothing advanced, nothing serious. So PSG at this point, despite all the reports from what I'm told, are not concrete suitors for Christopher Nkunku, but there is still a chance for Nkunku to leave and to go somewhere else. That's my information. It depends on the player. As I told you, Chelsea will leave it into the player hands. So if the player goes there and asks to play more and leave the club, Chelsea would be open to help the player and find a solution. So let's see what happens with Nkunku. Let's see what happens with other players, because Casadei, there is Torino pushing, 2 bids rejected, Napoli are interested, but Chelsea are still waiting for an official bid from Napoli, for Cesare Casadei. So let's see for this situation. There is also interest from Feyenoord, but the player priority is Italy with Torino, and now Napoli also interested, but let's see when and how they will make an official bid. Then it's important to say that Disasi could leave the club. That's something that we have to consider, so there is a chance for Disasi to leave in January. He was discussed as an option with Juventus, but Juventus have different priorities. So Juventus are not intention to go for Disasi. Juventus are looking at different centre-backs, and I will mention about that in the next days. But Disasi could still leave Chelsea in the January transfer window. So will be one to watch, because in case of good proposal, he could go. And remember that Chelsea want to bring in one more centre-back. They have a recall clause for Trevor Chalobah. They made some contacts for Marguerite at Crystal Palace. So in general, Chelsea are looking at the centre-back position. For Chelsea also, Desbury Hall could leave the club in January. Chelsea are open to proposals, so Chelsea are absolutely waiting for opportunities. We know also about Ben Chilwell, but Chelsea will be busy with the outgoings because, as I said, centre-back is a situation to follow for Chelsea for sure, a position they could cover, and then the offensive positions, because Mudryk has this ban problem, because Nkunku could leave in case the player wants, and so Chelsea are also considering opportunities for offensive positions. We will see what kind of player and if they really decide to proceed. And so, guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories, from Rashford to Kobbie Mainoo, but also Disasi, Gyökeres, and all the others. I wait for your opinion here in comments. Like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Ciao.